How are you the 7th July 2023? Welcome to the Rail Zone, the Commission. This is the war room, the war zone. Okay. We're at war here. We are at a financial and economic warfare. Today, I want to talk about the economic warfare that we're going through as Zimbabweans. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge that your economic warfare, your own individual economic warfare is rightfully yours, and you have got the right to succeed financially. In fact, that's the reason why you watch videos like these and you get you get engaged in educational information for the sake of improving your financial status. That is at the crux of our political warfare. What brings us together is because we're from one country, we're one nation. Our economic agenda is attacked as a nation. We are grouped as Zimbabweans, and then we face this barrage of economic attacks, political attacks that limits our rights and limits our ability to succeed in the world. So you see that what we're doing here on this channel or in politics is an extension of your own personal fight for economic prosperity. But it so happens that some of the underlying factors to your poverty are deeply entrenched in the fact that you are a Zimbabwean, or you are a black man, or you are an African. All of those things are what you address through the political discourse, and what we hope our leaders would address. That is why we put so much emphasis on focusing on Idi Mnangagwa, who is now the country head of Zimbabwe. Does he understand his job or not? So my judgment of the situation, my judgment of Idi Mnangagwa is not based on anything personal, but on looking at how he is performing on delivering a prosperous future for all of us as Zimbabweans. And as I am seeing, I see that he is a complete failure, and the reason why we as a nation are failing if financially is because of him. And therefore, we place our focus on him to deliver. But since he has not been delivering in the past 7 years, together with his political party ZANU PF, which we have analyzed in the past 43 years to be failing in at least delivering basic services. Okay, Robert Mugabe was good with basic services in the 80s and early 90s, but ZANU PF disintegrated into this thing that is focused on a narrow economic gain of the few who have got friends in power in Harare, and those people which we call ZANU PF or the Harare elite have neglected the real reason why the general population put them up there in power. Right now, they're in power, and we're going for elections in August, which we believed are not free and fair because they are serving elitist interests, and the elites in Harare have captured the aspirations of everyone in Zimbabwe, including me and many other disenfranchised youth in the country, and those that have left the country to become second class citizens in South Africa, Botswana, United Kingdom, United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the like, and so on. So you do see our need and our craving for home, our craving for home for that works for all of us, that makes sure that it functions. And because that home, our dream of a home, is being stopped by a man called Idim Nangagwa and his cohorts in Harare, it is therefore justifiable for us to take up arms and come up with YouTube channels and all sorts of other ways of trying to make sure that that granddaddy in Harare is gone and is taken back to his farm where he belongs. To make sure that his wife and his children will stop pillaging the resources of the nation, to make sure that the rest of the elite in Harare are put on the right path of knowing that we should form a future that is shared amongst every citizen of the country. It is that fight, therefore, that political fight. I need you to understand the political perspective of where some of us are coming from as we are approaching this politics. If Mnangagwa did well and ZANU-PF was doing well, there would be no reason for us to be involved in politics. But because they are not saving us, but they are saving themselves, is the reason why we have to remove them from power. And we are fighting an economic war, remember, for all of us. And when we come together, it's because your economic warfare, my economic warfare, somebody else's economic warfare, when we come together, we form a political entity. That is what a political party is based on. It is that political entity of the individuals that come together for the purposes of building a system that has got the potential of lifting the living conditions of all the people that are involved. So ZANU-PF, I argue that it has aided in delivering that promise that led people to take up arms in the 1970s to fight a brutal Smith regime, only to find out that the ones that we trust and we put on top there, they betray the trust bestowed upon them by the greater public. I have said also in the previous video that one of the biggest things that Zimbabweans are not talking about is the way that ZANU-PF has abused the trust in the banking sector. How the banking sector and the financial infrastructure of the country has been abused by the elite for the purposes of siphoning wealth through currency manipulation, all this dollarizing this decade, de-dollarizing, dollarizing again. It's like a pump and dump scheme that ZANU-PF is running. So when they dollarize using US dollar, they are pumping the economy so that they eat some productivity. After that comes the dump side, whereby they begin to deliberately manipulate the Zimbabwean dollar currency such that it falls to levels that are I mean, to terrible levels, like lack of a better word. There's, you know, to hyperinflation, which is a process of siphoning everybody else's wealth. All right. When they are done that, they go to the Zim dollar. I mean, they go back to US dollar to to re, to resuscitate the economy again for the purpose of exploiting the whole economy. So you see, this exploitation is not the usual exploitation that we know historically, where the landowners exploit the laborers. But this one, it goes a step further, whereby they exploit the whole economy. Currency devaluation is the biggest sin that ZANU-PF has committed in Zimbabwe, even bigger than election stealing, even bigger than violence, because that is the biggest violence ever. Because the most violent thing we can do is to let people work to create wealth for many years, and to after that use erudite systems of finance and governance to siphon that wealth without them understanding or knowing how it is done. Because most of Zimbabweans do not know how their pension monies have been still stolen by ZANU-PF. A lot of business people do not know how their businesses profits have been siphoned by ZANU-PF through currency manipulation. Even the dreams of young people, including me, have been stolen by ZANU-PF's insistence of staying in power for the purpose of wealth extraction, undue wealth extraction from everybody else just to benefit a few. That is an egregious, serious crime that has never been really interrogated heavily by the Zimbabwean public. I suggest that that is actually what we must be investigating deeper, and that is what we must pin on ZANU-PF and remove ZANU-PF for that purpose. And we begin to create a future in which the financial services sector is engineered and it is supervised in a way that it is healthy. In a healthy financial system will at least enable us to have a semblance of a home. Rules-based system where we know what is right and what is wrong, to penalize what is wrong and to reward what is good. and to have a robust debate where we have got the right to speak out. It's called freedom of speech, that enables us to be able to interrogate and investigate all of us around our community to see how best can we bring our community forward. That is the importance of freedom of speech, and also to extension human rights, the broader human rights, that gives us that sense of social well-being in our home, because we want to feel like first-class citizens in our countries, to understand, and feel at home and feel happy and feel relaxed. That is the dream that Zimbabweans must aspire to, and that is the reason why every Zimbabwean should work towards the policy of destroying ZANU-PF. Even if you're a ZANU-PF member, it is in your interest to remove ZANU-PF itself. This whole thing of creating a political class in Harare that serves this lie that we currently have at the moment must come to a stop. My name is Ngubani Zondo, and I'm running to be considered to be one of the leaders of Zimbabwe as we move forward to a better country. Have a great evening.